Hello everyone, my name is Mohsen from Microsoft Zero to Hero. We are here with another AI session. I think the topic is very interesting. And before the start the session, let me share my screen. We have some slide to present about all of the participants. Yes, today we have Janarthanan. He wants to talk about the feature with the generative AI. The topic is very interesting, and I think you enjoyed this presentation. And let me talk about the Microsoft Learn community. As you know, the Microsoft Learn community is a big and huge repo about all of the content, learning content, about a lot of topics about the cloud, data, Microsoft 365, or other things. You can enjoy this topic, learn more based off your career path, based off the certificate. You can join from .aka.ms Microsoft Learn community. And the next slide is about the Microsoft Build. The live and on-site session is down, but I think about the 1 week, you have a chance to register Microsoft Cloud Challenge and give a Microsoft certificate exam voucher. About the 1 week, this challenge is available. Never miss this one. And the monthly calendar, all of the session, the next session about the Jerry and Erland is available. Register, join our social media channels. You received a lot of news about that interesting topic and session. All session, all of them recorded and hosted on the YouTube channel. You can visit our YouTube channel. And the last slide is about our code of conduct. Be aware of other, be friendly and passionate, be welcoming and respectful, be open all question and viewpoint, be understanding of difference, be kind and considerate to others in chat, in the voice or other things. Let me add Jonathan on the stage. Hello.
Hey, hi, Masin.
Hi again. How are you?
I'm good. Doing what about you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you very much for asking. And yeah, the stage is for you. You can start your presentation.
I hope my screen is visible.
Sure.
Quick check.
Yes, we have your screen.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction about the community.
Thank you.
And thanks for the opportunity for this Microsoft Learn community.
Yeah.
I am pretty much happy. Thanks for joining from various parts of the world. And I appreciate everyone's time and patience in listening those sessions. So, good morning and good evening, everyone. So, the topic for today's discussion is about the infinite possibilities, how the generative AI is going to be, what are the different opportunities, different options, how the future is going to be become with the generative AI. So, as part of this Microsoft Hero to Zero series, I'm presenting a topic which is based out of the AI Hero to Zero series. So before I'll begin, this is about me. I'm Janarthanan Selvaraj. I'm a Microsoft MVP under the AI category, as well as I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. Then I'm Shisha Corner MVP. So currently I'm working as a senior specialist as well as AI expert at Aviden. I'm a top voice in LinkedIn community for AI as well as my machine learning. So close to 13 certifications I completed under the Microsoft Azure platform. So I used to contribute in terms of mentoring, like women empowerment, women code without barriers, a community from Microsoft. I used to contribute the articles, blogs, in my respective channels, as well as I will be talking in most of the user groups as well as the international communities and the Microsoft authorized user groups as well. So this is about me. Let's get started about today's agenda. The agenda for today's discussion is around the generative AI landscape, the Azure OpenAI models and various capabilities. And as part of the possibilities of this generative AI platform, I have considering the major one is the Codex platform. So under the Codex platform, we have capabilities around the GitHub Copilot. How GitHub Copilot is going to be helpful for the developer communities in order to do better coding workflow, as well as how this GitHub Copilot has been evolved in terms of coding suggestions and how to handle if a situation where the developer needs to take care of the error handling part. And finally, we'll discuss about the best practices of GitHub Copilot as well as the GitHub Copilot pricing model. So this is for today's discussion. Very first one is the generative AI landscape. So under generative AI landscape, Microsoft has introduced a service called as the Azure OpenAI services. We have quite amount of models which are in place like GPT 3.5, GPT 4, ChatGPT. We have a Codex model, DALI 2, and in the build version we have DALI 3, we have GPT 4o, which is Omni. So those are the new models which are also available as part of the Azure OpenAI services. With that, in all these GPT model, ChatGPT, Codex, DALI 2, 3, and even your GPT 4o, the input form or the prompt form, it could be a text, it could be images, it could be audio, or it could be even a video, and you may able to get the responses in the desired format. It could be a text, it could be a conversation based responses, or it could be coding responses, or it could be different linguistic language responses in terms of your desired outcome. So to brief about this, when it comes to GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 as well as GPT 4 Omni, all these GPT versions are ideally, if you notice that the knowledge base day by day, the knowledge bases keep on increasing, keep on evolving, keep on growing. Then only we are getting the desired responses with all these GPT model as concerned. The pretty much new model related to the Azure OpenAI stuff is GPT-4o Omni. So the beauty of this GPT-4 Omni compared to a GPT-3.5 Turbo, GPT-4 Turbo, the response time, the real-time response is pretty much good compared to GPT-4 Turbo. So GPT-4o Omni, it accepts text-based responses, it accepts image-based responses, as well as it is accepting your audio-based responses when it comes to GPT-4o model. So as part of this major series of this session, our focus is on the Codex model. So Codex model, which is your code generation platform, the user started crafting a prompt in a text space, and we are looking for the result as a code-based approach. When I say coding, any type of technology can be used. It could be a Python, it could be a Java, it could be a Go programming, or it could be TypeScript, Ruby, or even it could be a C Sharp .NET. In all these technology, you can see there is an evolution of your code generation model, which is the Codex platform. So this is your Azure portal. In the Azure portal, you can notice there is a studio which is called as the Azure OpenAI Studio, and we have different types of playground. We have like chat playground, as well as completion playground, DALI playground, the assistant playground, which is in the preview mode. If you want to perform any code interpreter, or if you want to call any function call outside it, or as if you want to do any file search related to your generative AI application as concerned, make use of the assistant API in preview. Related to DALI, DALI it is your image-based playground. We have DALI 2 and DALI 3, and it is region restriction. Not all the region it is supporting DALI 2 and 3. There are restriction in terms of region. Completion, we have different types of capabilities like summarization, translation, email generation, natural language to SQL, natural language to Python. How will you explain an SQL query? Those stuffs will be related to a part of your completion playground. With respect to the chat playground, you can see the chat GPT version of Azure OpenAI platform. So if I click this chat playground, you can started conversing here with respect to your chat playground. The one best part of this Azure OpenAI Studio, it has following the content safety policy along with a header to your responsible AI principles as well as ethical AI. It is strictly following. So let's see. Hi. I just started conversing with respect to the chat playground of your Microsoft Azure platform. So we are waiting for the response. Just a moment. Because any services you started deploying with respect to the chat playground, it will take 5 minutes time to reflect the respective results. Similar manner, if you want to go for any completion playground, we have various set of use cases. It could be summarizing issue resolution, summarizing key points on the financial extraction, email generation, your job description generation or translation, analyzing sentiment and opinion. These are the various use cases you can play around with respect to the completion playground. And similarly for the daily playground, you can give your image-based prompt. I have given an image-based prompt saying that an astronaut wearing the gold jumpsuit and helmet on the moon. This is the prompt I have given. I hit generate button also. And you can notice that image is pretty much impressive and it is visual treat to your eyes compared to DALI 2. And what are the functionalities you can see with respect to DALI 3? You have copy prompt. You may be able to generate any new images. If you want to download this image to your local, you can download it. If you want to delete the image, you can delete it. As well as with respect to this one, you can use this particular code in your application development. There are two essential things as application development. One is the API key. The second one is the endpoint. So this is a quite interesting about your models which are currently available as part of the Azure OpenAI capabilities as concerned. And in Azure OpenAI capabilities, there is an option called as deployment. In the deployment, you can see there are various models being available when it comes to the deployment. It could be a DALI 2, DALI 3, GPT-3 Turbo, GPT-4, GPT-4o, which is a new model, and we have an embedding model. The embedding model could be a large language model or it could be a small language model is also available. And the famous embedding model, which is called as text embedding ADA model, is also available. This is related to the base models will be available as part of the Azure OpenAI is concerned. And very important stuff, every model, if you start using, there is a quota limit will be there. Always be an eye on your quota. So you have to think twice before you apply to the Azure OpenAI service, whether the problem is going to be solved if I started using Azure OpenAI or not. That clarity you should have before you proceed with your Azure OpenAI Studio. Okay. So every models has a quota limit, which is 240. Suppose if you exhaust this 240 threshold, you may have an option to request for additional quota limit. Okay. That's how we have to manage carefully when it comes to the models if you start playing around under your generative AI platform. So this is about the model definition part and various capabilities of your model. So as part of our discussion is morely concerned on the Codex platform. So I mentioned the Codex platform. It is a code generation model. What we will do in the code generation model is users started writing the prompt. The prompt will be converted into the respective coding. It could be a various technology being evolved. It could be a Python, it could be a Java, it could be a C Sharp, TypeScript, JavaScript, or it could be a Go programming, or it could be Ruby programming. So different types of programming languages evolved, different types of web-based framework it supports, like AngularJS, React.js, Vue.js. These are the various JavaScript variants which is supporting the GitHub Copilot as a Codex platform. And if you notice the Codex platform, what is the story behind this GitHub Copilot? There is a term, we name it as a pair programming. So pair programming is one of the practice we use in the Scrum or Agile practices. In that, two people started sharing a common workstation or a laptop. One will play the role of a driver, the other one will play the role of a navigator. So what navigator will do? The navigator will review the code and the driver will write the code. Now you became, let's do a role interchange. You became the navigator, then I became the driver. When you do this, such type of role reversal, the code quality has been improved and it is boosting the developer productivity if you start using the pair programming practice. So one of the pair programming tool related to a Codex platform is the GitHub Copilot. And if you notice the GitHub Copilot, it is developed by the GitHub Corporation. And this particular tool, it is powered by the OpenAI Codex platform. And the beauty of this GitHub Copilot, you can see the GitHub Copilot in most of the extensions related to IDEs, which is Integrated Development Environment. So in the traditional times, what has been happening, if I want to comment it, the purpose of writing comment is to make the user better understanding or a better readability. So nowadays, you started writing the comment. The moment you write a comment, you hit enter, the comment will be converted into code, which is named as context aware suggestion. Your GitHub Copilot emphasizes on the context aware suggestion. That is one of the core important value you will able to derive if you start using GitHub Copilot. So with that, what are the major features the GitHub Copilot will support? So as I mentioned earlier, the comments are converted into code that we name that technique as context-aware suggestion. All repetitive tasks, all redundant work will get rid of if you start practicing GitHub Copilot in an effective manner. And the another important usage of this GitHub Copilot adapting to the user style or a user preferences. And the best part of this GitHub Copilot, it will start continuously learn from the feedback, from the past experiences, from the past mistakes. You have an option to learn such type of things as a continuous learning. It's not like a one-time learning. It's not like in context learning. It is do the learning in here. It is in context learning in a sense. It could be a zero shot, it could be one shot, or it could be a few shot in your Azure OpenAI stuff. But when it comes to the GitHub Copilot, it is continuous learning. And the best part of this GitHub Copilot, the GitHub Copilot supports several languages, various framework it supports. So when it comes to the developer perspective, almost 1 million plus developer communities started using GitHub Copilot. That's a survey of GitHub Copilot. And 55% of the crowd says after they started using GitHub Copilot, they have seen the drastic change in terms of the coding experiences. The coding speed has been improved as they use GitHub Copilot. That's one of the best aspect of the GitHub Copilot survey. And 75% of people said that those who start using GitHub Copilot, they got the full-fledged uh, usage, in terms of tool wise, in terms of user satisfaction wise, in terms of GitHub Copilot. These are the things the customer as well as the developers has given their voices in terms of the respective feedbacks. So why I should use GitHub Copilot? The purpose behind is, if I want to boost any developer productivity, or else if I want to improve my developer productivity, you can automatically start using GitHub Copilot. It will obviously maximizes your time and effort. Okay, whatever the time you used to spend without using GitHub Copilot, it is pretty much reduced. That is one of the important usage why we are using GitHub Copilot. And the chances of having high chances of having code quality is being enhanced if you start using GitHub Copilot tool, and the speeding in terms of coding is pretty much improved, as well as if I want to accelerate in terms of innovation development activities, then you can start using GitHub Copilot. So if I am a .NET developer, my client wants to migrate the entire application into Go programming development. Unfortunately, the team don't know the Go programming application development. And team will have a very less time to complete your project deliverables. What the team can do that, whatever the .NET code is written, they can make use of the GitHub Copilot tool. Those prompts will be converted into your Go programming, which is pretty much simple. You can hire a person within the organization or outside the organization, ask the person to make all the code that generated by the GitHub Copilot, is it correct or wrong? That quality check alone you can make it. You can start reviewing the code, which means you will be saving the time and effort, and the deliverable is also on time, which is faster time to market. In terms of bridging those skill gaps, even though the team don't know about a specific technology, they can make use of the GitHub Copilot efficiently to address those skill gaps in the respective team if you start using GitHub Copilot. So this is the architecture of your GitHub Copilot. If you notice that the GitHub Copilot, here it is a service model. And the beauty of this GitHub Copilot, user has to start typing the context at high level, and the suggestions will automatically get generated. And whatever the data it has started generating, those suggestions will be from the publicly available data, which is available in online. Even if you want to bring your own data to the GitHub Copilot, that is also possible. There's a speciality of your architecture of your GitHub Copilot. And related to the editor support, it supports Visual Studio Code, Vim Editor, JetBrain Editor. These are the 4 editors majorly started supporting GitHub Copilot. Related to language support, closely 10 programming languages it has started supporting: Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Ruby, HTML, your Go programming, Java programming, C#, .NET. So these are the technologies and programming languages your GitHub Copilot started supporting it. Related to framework support, Angular JS, React JS, Vue.js, these are the web-based framework your GitHub Copilot started supporting. So let's see the demo. So this is a Visual Studio Code. So what you are supposed to do in the Visual Studio Code is, you need to go to the GitHub Copilot on the Google browser. So first one is, go to GitHub Copilot, click this option. So once you started clicking the option, it will redirect to get started to Copilot. You have to purchase a license of any one of the part. It could be a Copilot individual, or it could be Copilot business, or Copilot enterprise. So any one of the Copilot license, you purchase it. That particular license you have to log in with in your account section. In the account section, you do log in with your license purchased option. After that, I am going to use for the Python application development. I'll be going to the extension section. In the extension section, you start downloading the Python related extension, since I'm going to use for the Python application development. If you are a AngularJS or a React.js, you download the AngularJS or React.js modules, Node.js modules. On the top of that, additionally, you are supposed to install two more extension, whatever the application development may be. What are these? One is GitHub Copilot, the second one is GitHub Copilot Chat. These two are the mandate extensions you want to play around related to the Python application development for GitHub Copilot. Once you are done this, you can see there is a Copilot option in the bottom of the screen. If you click this, it will say the status as status ready, which means whatever you have done so far in the GitHub Copilot, you have been installed successfully in your machine. Once it is done, you restart the Visual Studio Code. After the restarting the Visual Studio Code, it is possible to use your Visual Studio Code with respect to any application development. It could be Python, it could be Java, it could be .NET, or it could be AngularJS, React.js, Vue.js. Any type of application development is possible if you do these steps followed in a sequence. So let's prompt it. So I'm going to introduce three important keys to prompt it. One is your control I. Control I is used to prompt it. Or else you can directly use hash. I'm saying print hello world message. It's just a plain English. I don't know how to write in Python. So immediately it is suggesting me the code. This is the hey, this is the code. There are two things you should notice. Either you have to accept the suggestion or you have to reject the suggestion. In order to accept the suggestion, you have to press tab key. I have pressed tab key. Save this. So now this I am going to execute it. Python, the name of the file, .py. We have executed it. So what is the key we are pressing for accepting the suggestion is tab key. Similar manner, I am going to write one of the prompt in a native English or in a natural languages. Print welcome message 10 times in a loop. These are simple prompts. Accept this, accept this. I asked to print to welcome message, but it is saying welcome to Python. So in this case, you have to fine tune the prompt according to your need. Once it is done, execute it again. You can see the result of the prompt. It is pretty much simple. The beauty of this GitHub Copilot is it is not necessary to type the prompt in the native English. You can even type the prompt in your French language, in any of the languages as well. So I'm going to use English to French. So I'm saying print hi message. Okay, this one, I'll copy this prompt. I'll paste it here. See, this will answer it. So it has given the result as I asked hi. Hi is nothing but in French it is bonjour. Print accept this and you can execute. Say Python. You can see the result as well. In the same case, what I can do, I can go for a complex prompt like create a Python class named as employee with fields. So I'm just typing with. Automatically it is suggesting me some of the suggestion. I don't want to accept this suggestion. What I can do, if I want to reject the suggestion, I have to press escape key. I don't want this. So fields like name. So this I will accept it. Tab key and then print all the values using show details method. Accept this Accept this, accept, accept. That's it. Now you execute the code. Python, the name of the file, .py. So we'll able to execute the code. So the two important functional keys you are to notice is one is your tab is for accepting the suggestion, escape is to reject the suggestion. The another one is if you want to know the list of suggestion, use control enter. The control enter is the key to get the list of suggestions for your existing code. For this existing code, there is no suggestions recommended. It says zero suggestion. So likewise, you remember these three keys while using your GitHub Copilot functionality. So this is the one. For example, I'll go for another examples. Create a calculator class. Accept this. Accept it. I'm saying create a calculator object. Accept it. Call the add method. Accept it. Subtract method. Accept it. Accept it. The divide method. Accept it. That's it. After this, we'll execute the code. Python sample.py. So these are some of the prompt which is used to generate your application development in your Python. Similarly, if you are a Java developer related to Spring Boot microservices, you download the JDK, download the extensions related to Maven, Spring Tool Suite, you download it. On the top of that, you additionally download GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot Chat. If you do this, you can play around the Java related prompt. You can play around the Spring Boot related prompt. You can play around the microservices front related to this prompt. That's the beauty of your using GitHub Copilot. So there is an option, we name it as GitHub Copilot Chat. Okay. If you notice the GitHub Copilot Chat, okay, the purpose behind the GitHub Copilot Chat, it is an extension of your GitHub Copilot code companion. It is majorly used. When it will be majorly used in a sense, it will be used in your programming syntax change, syntax correction, as well as if you want to do documentation, you can go for this. If I want to explain about any particular code, then go for GitHub Copilot Chat. So these are some of the functionalities of GitHub Copilot Chat. And how this GitHub Copilot Chat is being used in your application development, I will tell you how to use it. So there is an option you can see, there is a chat section. In the chat section, how to use this, you have to use slash command. Okay. The slash command, we name it as GitHub Copilot Chat. So there are various of chat commands are available. For example, control I slash doc stands for if you want to add any documentation comment for a particular code, use slash doc. Similarly, if you want to use explain about a respective code, each and every one line by line explanation or a description about the code, you go with the slash explain command. Similarly, if I want to fix a syntax error or any changes with respect to code, you can go for slash fix. If you want to write any unit test case generation for your selected piece of code, use test. So these are the four slash commands which is aligned inline to your code. Similarly, you can use slash command in the chat section as well. Again, you have to use forward slash. You can see some of the additional commands are, if you are looking for any API, you can go for slash API. And if you want to search anything within the code, you use search option. And there is another thing which is called it as a help. You need any help related to a particular command, use slash help. Similar case, new meaning is I want to create a project structure for Java, or else you want to create a project structure for React.js, AngularJS, you use slash new. And there is one more GitHub Copilot chat command says slash new notebook. Slash new notebook meaning is if you want to create any new Jupyter notebook and you want to use some of your files as a source file, use new notebook. It will create the entire code structure along with your respective data as well. That is the usage of new notebook. So these are the commands which is part of your GitHub Copilot chat. So what I'm going to do, I'll select this piece of code and I'll press Ctrl I, then I'll ask slash doc. So doc meaning is documentation which is going to add for this particular code. It has started generating the documentation commands for the respective code. You can see that as well. Either you can accept it or else you can reject it. You can see a simple calculator class that perform arithmetic operations. It is showing us. This is which slash command in the sense slash doc. Similar case. Yeah, I'm selecting this piece. I'll reject this. I select the same piece of code. You want to use unit test case generation for this. You can say slash test. Slash test will generate a unit test cases. You can see unit test cases. There is a assert class. So we have a fixed value, expected value as well as actual value. With the help of assert, you can create a unit test cases for your respective methods. You can use inside the inline code functionality, or else you select the piece of code, you can write it here also. It will perform the same result. Slash test. Execute this. It will go and check the entire workspace of this one and it will start writing your unit test cases for your respective selected code snippet. That is a usage of your slash test functionality. So as of now, we spoke about slash test functionality, slash doc functionality, and let's see about slash fix functionality. Meaning of fix functionality is you commit some of the mistakes and I'm asking to fix those mistakes. So here we removed close parenthesis and we removed colon operator. And again, I'll remove colon operator here also. Let me select this piece of code and I'll ask GitHub Copilot slash fix. The moment you say slash fix, it will provide the option as, let's say, the provided code has a few syntax error. Here is the corrected code. You can either delete this code and you can use the code refactoring button. So what I do, I'll delete this code and I can use the code refactoring button. The respective code will be placed. Now, if you execute this code, it will not having any error. That is the purpose behind slash fix functionality. So what are functionalities so far we discussed? We discussed about slash doc slash fix slash test. The another important functionality is if I want to explain a line by line explanation about this particular code slash explain. Slash explain meaning is it is going to give a line by line explanation about your particular code. It has started providing the line by line explanation and it is generating in your workspaces as well. Similarly, if you want to search something, you can select this piece of code slash search. The search is going to perform any item you're looking to search within the code. You can go for search option. The last two slash commands are slash new. Slash new, it is going to create a new project structure for whichever application. I'm asking to create a Python application project. So that's my prompt. Python application project structure. This will create. If you execute this, it will create a new workspace for your Python application projects as structure. It will start proposing what is the directory, what are the files you have to keep under which section. The entire detailing part will be available, like requirement.txt, your constructor, your main method, your utility function, your unit test case method, test main is there. Again, this is your constructor and your environmental variable. We have a list of packages. If you want to download it, you can go for requirement.txt. Your readme.md file is nothing but your entire file description, project description will be there in the readme.md file. This is about slash new. And the best part of this GitHub Copilot functionality, which has been introduced in your Copilot, one is new notebook. The meaning of new notebook, I'm asking to create a new Jupyter notebook that teaches me the basics of visualization, basics of Seaborn library visualization, use the cricket data file as the source. It will start thinking the entire scenario and it will give the complete outline starting from importing the libraries, loading the libraries, creating the visualization. You are building the entire machine learning deployment flow. Entire codes will be visible. Just click create new notebook. It will display the entire code stuff, which is the new notebook. So you can see what are the required libraries you are supposed to install, import, and you can notice how to load the cricket data file, what are different types of plots are available, complete code outline and the respective lines will be available. It is pretty much easy to execute it. If you want to use fine tuning, you can fine tune it according to your specification. You don't want, you can continue on executing the same code. So this will eliminate the minimizes the time and effort, and it will eliminate most of the repetitive work if you start using the GitHub Copilot. That's what the GitHub Copilot, they're redefining the developer productivity. If I want to redefine my developer productivity, or else if I want to boost the developer productivity, the developer should know how to prompt it. If you're not prompting in a proper way, your output or the response will go for a toss. So my urge to everyone, please start learning prompt engineering. There are excellent courses are available. The prompt engineering courses are there in your Microsoft Learn. Please utilize those courses, and you can have also the credentials. Like credentials is one of the skill where you can practice most of the hands-on lab. You can use for credentials applications to you have a grip on your hands-on. That is one of the advice I'm providing to everyone. So we done the GitHub Copilot chat commands. Let's move on to our presentation. So with the help of this GitHub Copilot chat, how as a developer, I am going to improve my workflow in terms of code completion, in terms of error correction, or code refactoring, or even navigation and collaboration and integration with the different types of application development. These are the various tasks and activities, and it is providing me ample amount of opportunities as well as possibilities with respect to the generative AI platform on your code generation. It is improvising the developer a lot. Some of the best practices related to your GitHub Copilot, one is provide always your high level context with a detailed instruction. If you're not providing the context with a detailed instruction, what will happen is always you have to follow the 3C framework: clarity, context, constraint. When you say clarity, whatever the prompt you have written, you have to provide with a clear specification along with the respect to intention. And when you go for your context, be concise enough, be precise enough with the detailed examples and specification related to your context. The last one, which is your constraint, always limit your responses in term when it comes to the generative AI application. So these three are the important key to have a better success ratio if you follow the first principle or first best practices when it comes to the prompt engineering stuff. And the second best principle, if you notice, or practice you notice, you have to provide detailed enough in terms of crafting the prompt with a specific example so that your response will be more desired in nature. And the third important best practice is use code completion, code suggestion. It could be either the tool is providing the suggestion or you will able to give the suggestions. You consider both and take a review which one is the best. You use it accordingly with respect to your specification, with respect to your need. That is third important best practices related to the GitHub Copilot. The other two best practices are ensure that if you're bringing your own data to your GitHub, keep the repository always updated. When there is an update, please inform to your team members. Suppose if you're using the outdated data, what will happen? You will be getting hallucinations. And I say hallucination, the artificial intelligence model produce a false information when it hallucinates. But that particular information you can represent it as a fact, but you cannot use it as a desired response or desired outcome. So always be informed to your team, be keep the repository always updated so that the team can collaborate with the GitHub Copilot tool in an effective manner as well as in an efficient manner that is possible. So related to pricing as stuff, we have three types of pricing model: Copilot Business, Copilot Enterprises, Copilot Individual. You have to choose your pricing model wisely. Be mindful when you started typing the prompt. All the prompt are based upon for the all the prompts it is following the content safety principle. There is no doubt in it. And the security aspect is concerned, it is pretty much secure. The code is safe and secure when you go for the GitHub Copilot pricing. So what are the ideal use cases of GitHub Copilot? The GitHub Copilot, it is used in the application development, web development, your machine learning model, data science, backend development, mobile application development. These are the areas where the GitHub Copilot has been used. When I say the machine learning model, if I ask to import the pandas package, it will import the pandas package within a fraction of seconds. If I want to read any CSV file, I can say read titanic.csv. This will read it. I want to display first 5 records. I can display this. Last 5 records. Shape. So entire machine learning model, it is easy to build if you start using the GitHub Copilot. I'll execute this, then you'll have a clarity. See, first 5 records, last 5 records, what the shape is. 891 rows, 12 columns. Columns, entire columns it is printing. And if you want to print the non-null columns, you can go for info method. Describe method is find number summary. What is the count? What is the mean value? What is the standard deviation? 25th percentile is your quartile 1. 50th percentile is quartile 2. 75th percentile is quartile 3. Maximum value. All numerical value columns it started printing it. So there's a way this is to develop and deploy any machine learning application is possible if you go for the GitHub Copilot related to machine learning and data science. That's it. Let's go for the Q&A. Thank you so much. Over to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you again. Uh, Let me share some question in chat. Yeah, the first question.
What is the best way to give your code context to the pilot? Prompt engineering is the key. When I say the prompt engineering is the key, the developers should have a knowledge, typical knowledge in terms of the domain as well as in terms of the technical aspect. And as a technical aspect, it is not necessary to master the language.
Okay. Next question.
Do you recommend a GitHub Copilot as an assistant to learn a step-by-step language through a project? Answer is yes, because it is the most efficient tool in terms of boosting the developer productivity. Starting from scratch, even if you're a pre-sales person, I don't know anything about the code, but I know how to prompt it. When I say prompt, it is not necessarily the English should be the language. It could be their own vernacular as well.
The last question.
Is it capable of being assistant at architect level? Not only at architect level, even in DevOps, even in security. So we have almost 25 plus co-pilots are available related to Microsoft platform. So Power BI Copilot, M365 Copilot, Power App Copilot, your Power Automate Copilot. So what is one of the interesting aspect is, if you ask me, in the year 2022, most of our clients and customers are asking whether your application is having GenAI capability. Nowadays, they're asking whether your application is having the Copilot assistance or not.
Mhm. Right. Great. Okay, guys. If there is no any question, we can end off this session. Thank you again, Janarthanan, for accepting our request and your all great session, and all of the participants joining this session. Thanks again. Have a good day.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Okay, okay. Sorry, sorry. I received last question. Let me share the last question again.
Okay, what was the question? Can we create a model like when we speak in English language, it will convert in another? That is translator option. Answer is yes.
Mhm.
We have a capability to do that. There is something called a text to speech avatar that is available in the Microsoft Speech Studio. Using that, you can do that. That is possible. That is Azure Copilot.
Great. That's it.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Mohsin, for providing me this
Thank
opportunity.
you. Thank
Thank you all.
you.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Bye.